We have already understood the concept of virtual WAN. We understood the benefits, use case, when we need it, all theoretical part of Azure Virtual WAN. And today, as you can see, we are on our Azure portal. We'll try to understand the lab aspect of it. So we have to first deploy Azure Virtual WAN. So if you type WAN in the search, you'll have virtual WANs. You click on it and you have to click on create. And once you hit create, you have to provide the resource group. For example, I can choose existing and you can create new one as well. Select the region, select the name. We can say AZ Virtual WAN 02. Now here we have two types of virtual WAN, standard and basic. Basic has a very nominal service to provide. Standard has all the services, as you can see here. Standard virtual WAN support connectivity between site to site VPN endpoint, VNet express route, endpoint to site. Means virtual WAN standard supports everything that virtual WAN offers in network connectivity. But if we select basic virtual WAN supports fewer connectivity options, right? So, and one more thing, we'll see later, I'll show you, because you can go from basic to standard without removing it, just like VPN gateway, but you cannot move from standard to basic. That's all you need to provide here, because I told you this is a global resource. This is the global resource. Inside this, we will create the hub, which will take a lot of time. So if I click review and create, it will validate and it will create it. So I have already created this so that we can save some time and go through the options. So for now, I have just click on create because it will not take much time, but hub will take almost 25 to 30 minutes if you choose the option of connectivity like site to site, because it will also deploy the VPN. So this deployment is in progress. Meanwhile, let me open the virtual WAN that I have already created for you. This is the virtual WAN that I have created. If I click here, WAN, virtual WANs, you can see this one is in it. This is also get created. So let's open our the one that we have created. As you can see, there is not much information, but if we go under settings, we have configuration. This is something we should go through. It will provide some interesting information that I've already shared, like basic virtual WAN support, site to site VPN connectivity, branch to branch and branch to VNet connectivity in a single hub. Apart from this, if you need anything else, you should go with the standard, because standard virtual WAN supports any to any connectivity, site to site VPN, VNet, express route, point to site in a single hub, as well as across hubs, right? If you remember this, two hub we have created in the previous video. So if we need to go across hub, we should choose the standard. If it is a single hub that we are relying on, basic will help us. So these three important points we should remember. First, express route. Two express route connectivity is only supported through global reach. If you do not know that, though we have covered in past videos, stay with this series. We will cover, next topic is express route, and we will cover almost all those topics related to the express route. And hubs in a standard virtual WAN are by default connected in a full mesh. As we showed, you can talk to any other thing. Hubs in basic virtual WAN are not connected to each other. You will need to upgrade WAN type to the standard. You can create, but they're not connected, right? And you can see virtual WAN type standard. Why it came? Because I accidentally click on it. So let me get back to the portal. All right, virtual WAN type standard, and it is grayed out. If we choose basic, we can move to the standard, but we cannot go back to the basic. Now, connectivity hub to hub is enabled. Branch to branch is, we have the option to disable enable, but what's the point? Let's keep it enabled because we also have the other options like firewall and stuff to filter the traffic, to control the traffic and NSGs and all. So let's go to the hub, which is the main component for the virtual WAN. If you click on new hub, you see the settings that we should be aware of. Now, I'm not going to go and create each and everything for you, but I will definitely give you the steps for your lab. You'll find under the description as well. So just for your understanding, under virtual hub, we have to provide the region. It is West US. Name of our virtual hub. Let me call it some ABC hub. All right, you have to provide the IP address here, right? Provide private IP address. What is this IP address? This is the IP address of hub, because I told you it's a managed network, and we should ensure the address space does not overlap with any of the spoke VNets or on-premises networks. So you can provide here 10.10.0.0 slash, let's call it 16 maybe. Okay, hub capacity. This is the capacity of your routing infrastructure. You can choose as per your how big, how complex is your infrastructure. Two routing infrastructure unit will provide 3 GPPS router which supports 2000 VMs. Right now, hot hub routing preferences you can select. For example, select the VPN for us. Now, if you go with the site to site, now here you can see all those options, all those connectivity components that we talked about in our previous video that it support: express route, site to site, peering, point to site. So you can choose as per the requirement. For your lab, I'll give you the steps. For now, let's just deploy it. If I choose yes, then it will deploy the VPN gateway as well, and it will take a lot of time. So let's click on no, review and create. It will validate the settings and create. It will take some time to create, but we are here to learn and save some time if we can. So I'll quickly go to the WAN, this one which we have. Okay, cancel. Let me create. Okay, it's in progress. Stay with me. Okay, now I think we can go to the WAN, and this is the one that I've already created. In this WAN, when I deployed the hub, I also selected the VPN, because if you see there's no VPN site, this is the address space that I have chosen. If I go to the virtual connections, here I can add the connections. Okay, and from here I can add the VPN site. You click on the create site and provide the relevant information. Same goes with the user VPN configuration, express route, but this is for the peering kind of thing that we can create. It is taking some time to load. All right, if I click on the hub, you'll see this hub we have created. If I go to the hub, now here you can see how hub routing preference is VPN gateway, because we have deployed the VPN gateway in this hub from the same setting where I have showed you when we enable the VPN, right? So gateways also got deployed here. These are the different other sites that we can choose for the connectivity. These are the routing information that we have and the firewall information that we have. Under the hub, we can go through all these things, right? But for now, the only thing we are trying to do is deploying virtual WAN, deploying hub, and getting it connected through the Azure Virtual Network to be very simple and fast lab. But you can also choose to connect any of the on-site, like acting VPN. Try to create Azure Virtual Network and try to connect through the peering first, and then try to assume this is on-prem and try to connect through VPN gateway if you can. Because as much lab as you do, it will give you the confidence, and that would be the best learning way or approach. So let me click on still loading. I don't know what's wrong with this thing. It never takes that long to load here. And the other resource is still in deploy. So what we can do, we can just wait for a minute. I'll pause the video. As you can see under virtual network connections, we have our hub. Okay, no connected, but we can add the connection. Here we can give the name VNet peering to hub. Select the hub that we have deployed, resource group, let's call it VMRG. Virtual network, we can choose. This one is good for us. Uh, and associate, we don't need to associate anything, and we can create it. And you would have the connectivity between your hub and the virtual network. This is the absolutely basic lab, just to show you different settings, but I will give you all the steps that will help you to create your own lab. As you can see, we have successfully added the peering. So under this hub of ours, we have one virtual network connected, succeeded. If I click here, I'll go back to this virtual network that we have paired with our hub. And if I go to the peering, you could see this connectivity. Right, this is the absolutely basic lab where we learned. Let me get back to our paint so that we can talk about the things that we have learned. So what we have learned, uh, what we have created and learned when created hub, learned all the settings, and then what we did, we created the peering with Azure Virtual Network, and we saw settings of virtual WAN. These things that we have learned. But for you guys, what I'll do, I'll give you the steps that you can perform in your lab and learn as much as possible. I'm sharing some lab objectives for you guys that you can follow. You can create these things. All the steps you'll find in the description. You can deploy Azure Virtual WAN and Virtual Hub in your lab. You can configure spoke VNet and connected them to the hub that we have already showed you. These are three extra things that you can do. Express route needs a lot of assets or infra that we do not have. Just you're like me who only have the Azure portal. So we can try different steps. If I share, I have written the step as on premises, but you can try to add a VPN gateway in your virtual network and assume it as an on-site virtual network. So these lab steps you'll find in the description box. Step by step, you can follow those and perform your lab. If you find any issues, any other information you need, you can drop a comment in the comment section. Well, thank you for watching, and you guys have